morning and a warm welcome to Think AI Conference 2023. I am Lakshmi.
And I am Sharma.
We welcome all distinguished guests, scholars, researchers, faculty members and others. Today, we gather here for an exciting journey of sharing knowledge and innovation at the Think AI Conference 2023.
Let us start the conference by inviting our esteemed chief guest, keynote speaker and reviewer for the Think AI Conference 2023, Dr. Tarun Kumar Reddy sir, onto the stage. I would request volunteer Sonia to give him a bouquet. Now I would like to request our principal sir, Dr. A. Ramakrishna sir, onto the stage please. Volunteer Manasvi. I would like to request Dr. Radha Krishna sir, Director of KLH GBS. Please come out to the stage. Volunteer Pawan. Now I would like to request Dr. Sandeep sir, convener of the Think AI. Yeah, I'm extremely sorry. Dr. L. Koteshwar Rao, the principal of KLH Pachpalli, please come on to the stage. Pawan, please honor them with a bouquet. I would like to request Sandeep sir, the convener of the Think AI 2023 conference.
Now I request everyone to stand up for the traditional lighting of the lamp and a prayer song symbolizing knowledge and enlightenment. सरस्वती भगवती विशेषजाड्यापा शुक्लां ब्रह्मविशारसार परमा आद्या जगद्व्यापी वीणा 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 पुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदा जाड्यान्धकारा हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिकं विदधतीं पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे परमेश्वरीं भगवती बुद्धि प्रदां शारदा बुद्धि प्रदां शारदा बुद्धि प्रदां Sharana Nada Brahma.
India is my country. Hi Sidhu, how are you?
Now I request our dignitaries to inaugurate the Think AI 2023 conference by launching the proceedings book.
Thank you, dignitaries. Now I would like to request our principal sir and the general chair of Think AI 2023 conference to speak a few words.
Respected Chief Guest Dr. Tarun Kumar Reddy, Professor IIT Roorkee, and esteemed guest Dr. Kodeshwara Garu, Principal Gorampet Campus, Dr. Radhakrishna sir, Director KLH Global Business School, and today's convener of the conference, Sandeep Chittireddy sir, and a very good morning to one and all. With immense pleasure, I extend a warm welcome to one and all for this international conference, Think AI 2023. Think AI 2023 is a flagship program of our KL University Hyderabad campus. KL University Hyderabad campus started in the year 2017, and you can see this, from the first outgoing batch, we are seeing a lot of success in terms of our academics, in terms of research, in terms of placements. We say proudly that we are accredited with an NAAC A++ and we are a category 1 university. Our NIRF ranking is 28 among all universities category. We have received a lot of academic laurels because of our academic syllabus, which is mapped with the industry standards. If you can see that our syllabus also, sir, majority of our syllabus is mapped according to the need of the industry, and we always focus right from our senior management, right from our VC sir or Pro VC sir, or right from our senior leadership team. We emphasize and we focus to connect the dot between academia and industry world. And if you say that the entire focus of this conference is, we want to work on a cutting edge technologies in AI like machine learning, computer vision, deep learning technologies, and NLPs. And we want to invite the researchers across the world to have a handful participation and to connect the dot between this academia and industry. And we say proudly that our team has done a meticulous work, especially the convener Dr. Sandeep sir. A big applause from our end. We have done a lot of work, and even our HODs, Dr. Arpita Gupta and Dr. Gautam, have done a wonderful job. I am very much happy because if you can see the team, it's a teamwork, it's a teamwork, it's a teamwork. They have worked meticulously on each and everything, and they have showed their performance today. And this conference is associated with the Springer. And coming to why we have taken this domain, AI is, as you know that the World Economic Forum itself declared that AI is a fourth industrial revolution. And we have witnessed from last few years how AI transformed our lives. The way how we are working, the way we are interacting with each other, the way we are communicating among each other or a group or an individual persons or a peers. We say proudly that our professors, our researchers, our team, our students, who are the strength of this university and who are the back end behind getting such an academic laurels. We say proudly that it's a teamwork effort of students and faculties and our eminent research faculties. And we are also part of this revolution. We say proudly that if you can see the last semester, we can say proudly that it's a fantastic first quarter. With the help of the research publications done by our KLH campus faculties, our research scholars, I'm very much happy. If you can see that we have more than 1 crore plus projects, and that to government projects and consultancies, patents. And I'm very much happy, and I got a wonderful opportunity to work as a principal with this kind of eminent team. And I would like to thank the management of KL University for giving me a wonderful team, for being a part of this entire ecosystem. And finally, I thank Dr. Tarun Reddy for spending his valuable time and being participation. And thank you so much, sir. I know that you are a very busy man and you came here for giving blessings to our conference and for our students and our research scholars. I want active participation and all the best to the conveners. And thank you so much all the supporting staff who worked meticulously for this conference. Thank you one and all.
Thank you for your insightful words, sir. Now I would like to request our L. Koteshwar Rao, sir, Principal of Bachpalli campus, to speak few words.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Chief Guest today, Dr. Tarun Kumar Reddy Garu, Dr. A. Ramakrishna Garu, Principal of Ajinagar campus, Dr. Radhakrishna Garu, Principal Director of this campus, convener of this Think AI conference, Dr. Sandeep Reddy, and other key organizers of this conference, HODs of PC, Dr. Gautam, HOD of CSC, Dr. Arpita, and other respected colleagues of both the campuses of Aziz Nagar and GBS. A very good morning, and my dear students also. I'm here not only as a principal, also as an author, one of the authors of this prestigious conference, which we started in 2022 July. When we started in 2022 July, we were not having much hopes on it. I was a little optimistic that time that the team can do, as told by our principal sir. But the team was wonderful that time, of course now also. With the continuous efforts from July 2022 onwards till date, there has been a tremendous effort from the convener of this conference, Dr. Sandeep, who is approaching the publishers, various publishers, tried with ITB, tried with Ellen Francis, tried with Springer. Finally, the Springer accepted, though the quality of the papers initially was compromised, but later the quality was not compromised, and hence the Springer itself finalized the 9 papers, which is really a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, all of those papers are from our campuses. It's really a wonderful achievement for all the KL University, all the campuses. And the theme or the title of this conference, when we see it, initially that was a poll was conducted. I remember those days. Think AI, Think AI, Thank AI, something like that. Finally, the people voted for Think AI, which was that time that time it was very opt, and now also. As you have seen, last 2 decades, AI is trending like anything, and coming decade is also going to be the generation of AI. And we have already seen and we are witnessing the impact of AI, how it is going to change lives of human beings across the globe. When I was in BTech final year in 2000 and 2001, my university professors made me to study artificial intelligence book published by Richard Knight. So since then I have been waiting when this AI will come into picture. Even though it's slow now, but still way forward, looking forward, AI will definitely create sensation in all fields of life. And with this conference, the students, the participants and others, faculty members will definitely get motivated to do research, to create projects in AI and to solve some problems of real world. As told by our principal sir, the university is doing a phenomenal job in terms of publications. In future also we would like to see the KL University growing further, becoming very bigger in terms of research. The university has proven a wonderful place in terms of placements and student progression. We would like to see the research also flourishing in our campuses. Though our campuses are very new, but we are very effective and very impactful. We would like to congratulate all the team members for the wonderful events that are going on across the campuses. With these few words, I thank the organizers for inviting me, for giving me the opportunity to be part of this wonderful conference, and all the best for the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Now I would like to invite Dr. Radhakrishna, sir, Director of GBS, to speak a few words.
Good morning. My respected people and the delegates, what colleagues actually, and we got a chief guest who has come from the oldest IIT, Turkila, and we want to share the things of a knowledge actually. But happy to have him as a resource person to give the next shades of the AI. So, first we welcome on that, and also they're asking me, can just now they get requested this young student, can you say a few words? And it is AI. AI is not my area of management, but RK called me 2 days back. Our team is coming, help them. This is maybe AI, but they are all natural intelligence, these people. They are able to explore whatever I have, and they are able to explore that, and I had a plan for them. So he said, what is the topic here? But after all conversations, Ramakrishna garu, and I told that I am also engineer. They shocked actually. Right. So, with the background of ECE background, when I say a few words, I thought I can share a few words on the topic and the conference, more than the topic. I take a maximum 5 minutes. The conference for the people who come here, for the youngsters, faculty, and all that. Conference is a very fertile place to have the thoughts of the ideas of the research one. And also for us who organize, the fertile ideas for curriculum development for the universities. So the interface for industry and institutes. They get the input for the all the things into the syllabus and back to the students. And what these people get, the youngsters who are organizing, they get the organization capacity to run the show anywhere. So these are the skills a conference happens. More than that, I just speaking to the Sandeep sir here. He says they got 55 papers came and 10 papers in the finger. Look at the rejection rate. Rejection rate indicates that the high quality of the index you are being there. And we want at the next level also. All the papers we process, we want to try to take the appropriate journals, and your effort will not be wasted. We are going to have a different levels to be done. Where exactly your effort of research, index, reflecting of your biodata, and also classroom effort, all being thrown across the world. When you do the research, the classroom delivery will increase. In the process, placement will increase. That's the way the research and the conference goes. So I encourage all the people, first start with the conferences, get the networking, get the thoughts across, and all the things can be taken care of. But I can assure you on the platform here, we also thinking, actually, I could not discuss with my colleagues, I was thinking, maybe October after 10 months so, we want to have the conference in B school for management side and also technology side. Because AI is a current trend, AI is everywhere. AI is from typically robotics to health, it is everywhere, we cannot ignore that. So, here never ignores any trend, I believe. We are into the system to observe everything. So we thought of having a conference, interview conference like this. You get inspiration from. Yesterday they came, I told small hints how to go about. So we also have a thought for that. I want to share with my colleagues also in October, November. We take a long time to do that. So that the things can be easy for us to go about now. So this platform I'll try to put an effort and also include the technology and how the much more AI trends into the things to do the things now. Okay. I think coming back to the subject itself, you put a typically cerebral here. So all it is artificial intelligence, but they are all natural intelligence. It cannot beat any time. It only enables the way things can be done. I think we all should have a human touch to the technology we develop. Then it will be. That's few words. Thank you for giving the opportunity for university and RK and all the people actually. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your inspiring words, sir. Now I request our chief guest and a keynote speaker, Dr. B. Tarun Kumar Reddy, to speak a few words.
First of all, I would like to greet all of you for this very auspicious event of the conference. Conference is a gathering where all the bright minds in the locality or within the community gather and discuss and they churn new ideas and new topics and new collaborations. So it's a creative energy what we all have here. So I thank Principal Sir Garu and one of my colleagues, Mr. Sandeep. So we had a good, we have something common to discuss. So I again tell you that AI term is something very, I would say something very, trending nowadays. But adding human touch, what Dr. Radhakrishna Garu has told, that it's more important. So that's where I work in terms of human-centric AI, or human-centered interfaces, human-computer interaction. So with this, I would like to again thank all of you. So I hope that you will all learn something and take something back home from this my talk or subsequent discussion here. And I wish all the best for this conference. So I served as reviewer for this conference, maybe one of the reviewers. So, but I had reviewed almost 4 to 5 papers. If I just know. So it was a very tough job, but because of the effort by Sandeep and the other colleague of Sandeep from IIT Dhanbad, so we were able to accomplish that. So again, thanks all of you. I hope to look forward.
Thank you, sir, for talking over here. Moving ahead, I welcome the Technical Program Committee Chair, Dr. P. Gangamohan, sir, to provide insight into the review process and the exciting schedule planned for today.
Good morning, everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Principal Sir Radhakrishna Sir, Ramakrishna Sir, and Principal Sir Kodeshwara Sir, and KLH GBS Director Sir Radhakrishna Sir, and Convener Sandeep Sir, and also respected participants, authors. Yeah. So the Technical Program Committee of the Conference Think AI 2023 is headed by Dr. Suryakant B. Gangashetty. And the committee members are Dr. P.C. Srinivasarao Sir, Dr. Vishala, Dr. A.K. Verma, and myself, Dr. P. Gangamohan. As you know that the Technical Program Committee is the core part of any conference of any scale. And the tasks involve are deciding the theme of the conference, technical areas, call for papers, reviewer invitations, review process and decision making. So the call for papers was announced on July 10th, 2023, and deadline for submission was October 10th, 2023. And we got 52 papers. So from India we got 44 papers from all premier institutes, and outside India we got 8 papers. So in reviewer invitation process we have invited 75 reviewers, so national and international. So from these 75 reviewers, 55 reviewers accepted for review. So one of the reviewer was Tarun Kumar Reddy sir, sitting here. Yeah. And also one of the reviewer who will be joining us around 12 p.m. He is Dr. Ganesh. He is now working in Sony Research, Japan. So he will be joining us at 12 and giving keynote address. He was also one of the reviewer. Yeah. So the review process took 45 days to complete, and minimum of 3 reviews per paper. So we have got 3 reviews complete for all the papers. And decision making process, so we technical team decided 18 papers first initially, and Springer team, they have decided to publish 10 papers from this 9. So the acceptance ratio is 19%. So it is a complete review process which is doubly blinded, and it shows the toughness of the acceptance. So the accepted papers will be published in Springer Proceedings of book series CCIS, and volume number is 2045. So thank you all. So thank you for joining the conference.
Thank you, sir, for sharing detailed information about the event and the efforts taken for the review process. I kindly request our dignitaries to join the audience. Let's delve deeper into the world of artificial intelligence with our next session, including keynote addresses and technical talks. Commencing our exploration and learning journey today, we are honored to have Dr. P. Tarun Kumar Reddy as our keynote speaker. He will be shedding light on the topic AI-enabled technologies, a medical and biosignal processing perspective.
Dr. B. Tarun Kumar Reddy received the B.Tech degree in Electrical Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur in 2013. After B.Tech, he opted M.Tech PhD in discipline of Electrical Engineering, IIT Kanpur. During PhD, he spent time in a joint research collaboration with Center for Artificial Intelligence, University of Technology, Sydney, and Brain Research Center, NCTU, Taiwan. He also worked with the US-based firm Government Incorporation, Boston. He later worked with IIT Dhanbad as an assistant professor prior to joining at IIT Roorkee. His field of research includes machine learning and signal processing, deep neural networks, EEG signal processing, and brain computing interfaces. He has published papers in IEEE transaction journals, top-tier conferences like ICASSP, Signal Processing Tier 1 Conference, IJCNN Neural Network Reputed Conference, and IEEE SMC Brain Computer Interface Tier 1 Conference. He represented India internationally as a part of the IIT KTCS team, which participated in the Amazon Picking Challenge held at Germany. He is also serving as reviewer for IEEE transactions on emerging topics in computational intelligence, IEEE transactions on pattern analysis and machine learning, IEEE transactions on neural systems and rehabilitation engineering, IEEE journal for biomedical and health informatics, IEEE transactions on fuzzy systems, IEEE transactions on neural networks and learning systems, IEEE transactions on pattern analysis and machine intelligence, IEEE Access and Alzheimer Informatics in Medicine. In addition, a team of students led by him were placed in rank 1 globally in a brain-computer interface challenge held as part of WCCI 2020, BCI Competition 2021, Biomat Challenges. So I would request you to continue with the keynote session.
So am I able to be audible there at the last? Thank you. So this was one of the talks which I delivered at College of Engineering Roorkee on a similar note. So the main center of the discussion is this term AI. So what when I discussed with the convener of the conference, so the audience of this discussion. So what I was of the impression that I would first dwell into what exactly AI is from a historical perspective, and then we dwell into the applications wherein AI is prominently used both in industry and academia. So this is like the brief overview of the discussion. So in the process, maybe you can get some of the points which may be new and maybe of interest to some of you. So when I talk about medical and biosignals, essentially in healthcare, we need to work with different modalities of data. When I say that different modalities of data, so basically you have electronic health records and you have different biosignals which you are collecting from different clinical trials or clinical studies, right? So essentially it all boils down to data from which you have to churn meaningful or semantic information. So this is where the intelligence is going to be applied. Okay, so what I will do now is that I will show you a few applications where I have started working with AI. So when I was doing my PhD in 2017 essentially, so that time, so this field was very new in the sense that people were knowing about machine learning, people were knowing about AI also, but that was not so like coming into the boom or it's going to make some new revolution, bring some new revolution into the community. Okay? So I just pursued my PhD thinking that maybe neural networks is something which interests me, so that I can model my applications wherever I am using it. So looking into that, so I just started with few problems. So I won't say that this is the journey of every person who is wanting to do PhD, but this is my journey. So I have started with working in different challenges. So this was my first idea. So before I choose a problem statement, so maybe I pick up different challenges and see where I can apply my thoughts or where I can apply my algorithms. Okay. So this motivated me to participate in the first challenge which you are seeing here. So this was Amazon picking challenge. So this was with my supervisor, Professor Lakshmidhar Behra, who is the director of IIT Mandirai. So we had participated in this challenge wherein we have to train this robot. So where you have a robotic manipulator. So we have to train this to learn from these objects which are in the scene. So you have a camera attached with the robotic manipulator, and you have many objects. You see this bin. So there are a lot of objects. One object may be on top of another object. So there is occlusion also in that process. So what we have to do in the challenge is that, so at the moment we will be given these objects, 40 objects, and within 2 hours you have to train the system, and in the next moment they will give you some another sample of objects on which you have to test. So there will be two challenges. So one is you have to pick and place. This is one. Other is, so this is like, so picking means you pick from here and put in here, and stowing means pick from here and put it back in the shelf. So these are two challenges which we had participated. So this was my first application of AI or learning experience with AI. So I would not say that is AI, but I will show you what is AI is something even much more. So this is just an aspect of AI which I am showing you. This is basically application of deep learning. Okay. So here basically we had used CNN, we had used certain domain knowledge, like we had some algorithm which we developed for this, especially this challenge, like fuzzy back projection. So there are certain features we developed for this challenge, and within 2 hours so these 40 objects were learned in the scene, and there were 2 GPU servers which are there, and this was learned, and then we were able to come fourth in this challenge, third in the challenge. So we had teams from MIT, Stanford and different places across the globe in this challenge. So this was my first experience with actually what is deep learning or machine learning. But what I could learn from it is the scale at which it operates. So essentially, in such a small amount of time, you are making the system to learn how to pick. It looked like a small task, like if somebody tells me pick up the object from here and keep it there. But to teach that to a machine, so the amount of intellectual effort it goes into it, like 4 to 5 people are there who are into the computer vision and deep learning aspect of this, and the robotic manipulation another person. So you see the amount of effort it falls into it. So this was my first experience into the AI in this essentially this challenge. So after this motivation, so essentially I further pursued my interest in AI. So later actually there was a small shift of the application. So this was also another problem statement which was targeted. So essentially this is a driving simulator. So in India also we are getting these simulators. So this is actually in Australia. So this is the Docking University. So this simulator is where the pilots are trained to come across different situations so that they don't get succumbed to it. So this is a simulating platform. So we have these simulators currently in different places in India also. So I hope there is one simulator in the army in Hyderabad. So we have a similar simulator. So what we had done is in this simulator, so we had some data which were collected from the simulator, and especially with respect to car driving, not the pilot what you are seeing here. So especially with respect to car driving, we have collected some data. And so my PhD topic was that I need to analyze this data and detect if from the data you get some biomarkers for fatigue from the data. So this was the second problem, or basically my actual problem which I had done or worked on. And later, so you can see this one. So this is the brain signal recording setup we had in our lab. So what we do is we have these electrodes or these headbands which are on the head of the person, and what we try to do is we try to decode what is there in the thoughts of the person. So essentially we show him some stimuli here and try to see if it's going to give some useful insight or what is he thinking. So these basic information you can get from processing these waveforms. So this was a complete system which we developed. That was part of my industry task after my PhD. So this was basically, you can say, a post-PhD experience. So when we had developed this complete system, so it's a lie detection system. Essentially, we had given the demo at CBI Delhi also, and many in Abu Dhabi there are some foreign defense agencies, they are using this system. So basically they are relying on this P300 biomarker which is there in the biosignals, so which is serving as a strong robust indicator of the person is hiding some information or there is some lie which is happening. So this system was developed very robustly. So this was another application where AI can be used in the bio. So, but this, let me tell you, this is just small. This is not exactly AI I am saying. So it requires a lot of domain expertise also. So it is not exactly AI, but AI, with AI we could improve the performance of the system. That's what I can tell you. So, so these are the three problems. And so this is another problem which we started working on when I started at UP. So this is like you see here, this is a brain computer interface. Okay, so this is like you see this is the interface before the user, and this is a wheelchair on which the user is sitting and he is watching this. So essentially you have the thoughts of the user. So which are you have to detect and say what command has to be given to the wheelchair. Okay, so this interface will help you to decode the thoughts, because somebody looks at the interface, he wants to think left, think right, and then the corresponding command will be linked here for certain duration. So according to that, people who are having motor disability, suffering from stroke or Parkinson, so we were able to navigate them in the lab environment with that task. Okay, so this was like, this is a lab prototype only. Still it is, they have published one chapter and one paper on this. So still this has to go further before we can bring it to some industry standard. PRA level 3 we have right now. So this is like the broad, I would say like, and this is the last one. So you can say this is like the simulator. I think the video will show you. Yeah, so this is the driving simulator I want to give. This is the first person view. So you have this person is driving the car in the simulating environment, and then there is a lane shift. So with respect to the lane shift, so what is the deviation or what is the reaction time at what rate it is deviating? So these are the indicators of telling that at what rate of fatigue is associated with it. So this is also known as the micro sleep detection. So we use this so again to detect the micro sleep or fatigue in drivers. So there is much to do in this. So this is my startup current project from DST. So still work is going on. So we are building some real-time variables for this. So the work is still in progress. So so maybe some of you are like students and those who are. So what I planned is that these are all research and some of the prototypes which are like technology transfer. Some of them which I am showing. But what I want to first highlight is the basics. So basic of what is AI and how the progression we can take it off before we move on to the research side of that entire spectrum. So let me just so this is our lab. So this we have some PhD students who have helped me in these various projects, and we are working together to build these different prototypes with the support of these students. So we have one lab which we have set up, Balram lab, so at IIT. And this is our website, so where you can go and find out if you need any information. So what I want to stand up first is that maybe just introduce what is AI, or even help me understand what is AI for myself. So conference is Think AI, so basically that how do we think and meditate on AI so that we can learn from it from a deeper perspective. Okay. So actually this should not be shown like this. So I'll just ask a question, because whenever I give a talk, like maybe I reach to 10% of the audience, or maybe maximum 30% of the audience. But I want to ensure that all of you are awake. So just have a small crossword before we start the discussion. So I'll just ask a question. It should not come up like this, but maybe it's a small error. So the answers are here, so we cannot ask it right away. So let me just okay. So I'll just ask one question. So this is just a crossword puzzle, so that we start thinking. So essentially, I'll ask two questions. So maybe any of you can raise your hand and answer. So the first question is, what is the name of the ant who always troubles the owner? One person just raise their hand and answer. What is the name of the ant who always troubles the owner? Tenant. Good. So what is the name of the ant which indicates the enthusiasm of the person? Anyone? Raise your hand. Maybe there are more than one answers, but what is one answer? So which indicates the energy of the person or enthusiasm. There are many answers. Yeah? Confident. Okay. Confident. So it's brilliant or exuberant or excellent. So all these are different ants, which indicates the enthusiasm or energy of the person. So have you come across this puzzle before? We solve Sudoku or solve these puzzles, right? So have any of you solved this puzzle? Like how you have solved it? If any of you have solved it. Have you used any algorithm or how did you solve this kind of puzzle? Trial and error, right? Trial and error is something we do. But I just learned this maybe a couple of months ago. There are algorithms to solve these magic squares, these magic squares. So they are using ciphers. They are also using cybersecurity. So I just came to know about you attending a conference in cybersecurity. So wherein I came to know this. So these are essentially the magic squares. You can solve them using this automated way of AI. Okay, so these magic squares can be solved using AI algorithms. That is what makes it very interesting. So what is the advantage of solving? Essentially there is less effort from your side and more of the AI part. So in that sense, you will be able to decipher more and more codes for every size of magic square you are considering. Okay. So that is the advantage. So this is, I won't say this is AI, this is rule-based approach wherein the algorithm is given and then algorithm you have to follow this step 1, step 2, step 3, and wherever this condition is failing you have to go for another indication. So wherever, for example, if you look at this 3, magic square 3, right? So essentially you can put in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So now you should start with, maybe you start from 1 to 9, for example, instead of 0. So if you put 1, where do you put 1? So there is an algorithm which says that you put it at n by 2 comma n minus 1 position. Okay. Then you increment by 1 the row, decrement by 1 the column. So and then there are different cases which will arise, but sometimes you won't have a space that because there is another member which has come there. So then you have another condition to handle that. So I won't say this is AI, this is a rule-based approach. Again, this is within AI. Okay, AI is something more. So we are going to see what AI is. So this is just a rule-based approach which you can use to solve certain problems which are useful for cipher codes. Okay. Yeah. This is rule-based. This is rule-based. Anyone else from there? Somebody else? Anyone else from there? Yeah, so this one. Yeah. So this is the arrangement here. You got it, right? Oh, right. So essentially, this will also be rotated. So I won't say this is a unique arrangement. You can do a clockwise or anti-clockwise. There are certain rotations allowed here. So it will, but relatively they are oriented in a fixed manner. Okay, relatively they are fixed. So you can still have a rotation possible. So this is the concept of magic square, where you have a magic sum. Essentially, this sum is known as the magic sum. Given an order of 3, for example, you will have a sum of 15 coming up here. Okay. So the magic square problem you can solve using rule-based AI. Okay. So this is the algorithm. This is one of the algorithms which is used essentially that the first number is positioned at n by 2 comma n minus 1, and the next number will be decremented by 1 in the row and incremented by 1 in the column. Okay, and so when you have this greater than your size of the row or size of the column, then it's going to be a circular shift. Okay, so that is how you build the complete magic square. And there are three cases which will arise here. Okay, the first case is that essentially that so the row position becomes -1. So this is the first case. Okay, so then what you do? You wrap it to n minus 1. Okay, so similarly for column, so if it is n, then you wrap around to 0. Okay, so the circular wrapping which is happening. And there are other cases, for example, if there is a number at that position, you are doing this operation, but then there is a number already sitting there in that row or column, right, in that cell. So what would you do then? So you would decrement the column by 2 and the row will be incremented by 1. Okay, so in that way you won't see there is any in the iterative process you don't see any overlap which is happening. Okay, and the last case is when column is n and row is -1. So in that case it would be 0 comma n minus 1. Okay, so these are the three basic ways in which you can build this algorithm for solving the magic square. Maybe in the LMS, maybe Sandeep can answer this question.
Yes.
So this is the magic square of size 3. So we have position 1, this is the index, and then position 2, and you solve it for all the numbers. So now question comes, what is AI? Okay. So AI is basically, it's a very big concept, but what we can talk about is something known as a weak AI. Okay. So weak AI means all those tasks which we do, like I have shown the robot to learn how to see and pick the objects and place it back in the shelf, or pick the objects from the shelf and put it back in the. So these are different small tasks which are assigned to the these systems. Okay, so this is known as a weak AI. So basically you have multiple tasks which are given, and then the systems are made to learn these tasks. Okay, so what we could not achieve, or still we are far away, is something known as a strong AI. Okay, where the machine learns by itself and there is a self-awareness. Okay, so I will just hint towards the end of my talk some idea about it, but I will just give you a brief description of what is a weak AI and what developments we have made so far in weak AI. Okay. So this is like, the difference between a robot and AI. So people confuse with robot and AI. So just I made points here which will maybe shed some light. So AI is like, both are programmed to do, like even the AI is also programmed, and so robot is programmed to do some tasks, but AI is programmed to think. So this is something which we have to see. Thinking means what? Thinking involves a lot of tasks which are overlapping, right? So if I ask a person, like some of you, so you can at the same time learn from me or hear from me here. At the same time you are thinking about something else, like your assignment tomorrow, or maybe your quiz which is coming up and your preparation for it, or your placement exam which is coming. So essentially you have a lot of tasks which are parallelly operated by you. Okay? So if you say that is the way we think, so still human is more advanced than AI. Okay? So AI systems are not yet so adapted to be able to think in that manner like a human can do. So that's what the human touch which sir was telling. That is we are still far away. We are trying, but still we are in the weak AI setting where still we are yet to achieve that human level of achievement. So essentially, these are the differences between a robot and AI. So both of them are learning. Okay, so essentially, learning happens in a robot as learning happens in AI also. Okay, but what is the difference? So let's see that. What is the difference in learning between AI system and an automated robot? Okay, so let's go into that. So these are something which maybe these you can look at. So there's a perspectives of different people in the AI. So maybe the CEO of Google is addressing that AI is going to take over two sectors. What he's telling is that mainly the autonomous driving, and the second is this is tech. This is what the statement was in a Google conference, the tech conference which happened in 2020, if I just remember. It's a Google Developer Conference, so in which he made this statement. So of course Barack Obama, so he says that generalized AI is what thinking about because it stretches our imaginations and gets us to think about our core values and issues of choice. So this is these are the statements which are made. So the important point is that these are the different perspectives of the people who are driving this AI innovation. Okay. So for example, have you come across Elon Musk's recent? How many of you come up with or come across what is the Elon Musk recent innovation? Maybe just you can raise your hand. Any one of you? Have you come across? What is me? Yes, it's very famous. Cyber? Cyber? Can you just truck? Cyber truck. Okay. Before that, yes. Self-driving cars. Yeah, that is true. So, but there is one more. Neural, yes, that is where I was thinking that some of you will answer that. Neuralink is where you have this invasive electrodes which are put into the brain, and so at the neuronal level, signal was taken and was giving the information, semantic information which is required for decoding the thoughts of the person. So they say that it's very accurate and in the clinical trial. So usually it's very difficult to get medical clearance for the electrode surgery of electrodes. But Neuralink is cleared that in the US and it is going to not in US, companies in Germany. Sorry, US. Yeah, the first human trial, what she was saying. So they got the clearance for this intracortical analysis. So this is something which is a big breakthrough, I mean, in terms of the healthcare AI study. So I hope these are, I mean, you are aware of this. I am just recalling these all concepts. That AI is basically a final output or the complete inversion, and machine learning is like the algorithm or basically the inner part of AI. Okay, so AI is more into like hardware, software, and firmware, and everything integrated together is AI. But what we talk about is from the algorithmic perspective, ML, DL, and all these different aspects. So this is the basic stuff which maybe is useful for the undergrads who are there. So essentially, for example, if you look at spam detection, spam email detection, so people tend to use decision trees or random forest to detect if the email is a spam or a genuine email. So this problem is basically you can try to solve it using machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms. Okay. But if you look at the entire system, along with the machine learning algorithm and the entire hardware and the entire firmware and software architecture, everything, so that can be called a complete AI system. So this was coined by Arthur Samuel in 1959. So what is difference between explicit programming and AI? This is what is it's a little, maybe it's $1 million question which even now computer scientists are trying to, they understood it to a certain extent, but still there is some clarification required. So explicit programming means that you know that these are the rules or these are the thresholds on which you can operate and go ahead with the task. But AI is something that it will learn from the raw data. It will essentially extract the thresholds itself. It will extract the input itself or the information, semantic information is extracted by itself. That is where the difference between basically explicit programming and AI. Okay, so people have done explicit programming, but certain tasks you will see, like for example, the natural language processing, or look at even many of you are working in computer vision. Some of the like occlusion, if you look at occlusion, so solving the occlusion problem in a dynamic environment So they require much more than the explicit programming part. Okay, so that is where AI steps into. So solving essentially the complicated versions of the applications where we are looking at. That's where AI is going to step in. Otherwise, we already have explicit programming, which is what So that is what we want to clarify here. So these are some examples, like people have used AI. This is an example where you can make an AI to play a game, make an AI to perform certain tasks. Okay, so people have now trained an AI agent to play a Mario game. So this is one example, and of course, so this is maximizing the score and doing that. So again, the main algorithm which is coming into when we look at this is basically the reinforcement learning. So the basically AI contains machine learning, deep learning, reinforcement learning, and then the other hardware software kept together. Okay. So reinforcement and learning is something. If any of you are working with game development, large language models, so this is where these algorithms are coming. So I'll just put together this entire story here in this one slide. So AI is basically all these aspects: to retain knowledge, to perceive, then to have a logical reasoning, navigate, and then do a natural language processing. So putting together entirety, so this is called AI. So maybe you have agents which can solve one problem here, one sub problem here, perception problem. So there is a perception engineering group in IIT Hyderabad which works on perception engineering, and MIT also has a perception engineering program. So we have different departments are dedicated to this, but putting it together. So you AI essentially AI. That's why I told that AI is something we cannot just like you solve a natural language problem, computer vision problem, or biosignal processing problem and say that is an AI. No. So AI is something put all these together in a holistic manner. That is an AI. Okay. So this is just a small slide again. So I told you the rule-based programming is for explicit programming, what I was telling you. A portion of it comes under AI, so not the entire part. And then there is machine learning and deep learning which are embedded in it, and also the hardware, robots, IoT and sensors. So putting it all together, this is what we call AI system. So these are basically different ways AI is applied. So we had a collaboration with Max Hospital in Delhi. So where they wanted some system where we can detect epileptic seizure. So because the doctor was a neurology director of neurology in Max Hospital Delhi, so he wanted an app, so wherein it will basically give us the data on a regular interval, and then we can say with what probabilities the person is going to get a seizure in the next 1 month or next 1 week. So this was one system we developed for Max Hospital Delhi. So basically this is in the healthcare. We are trying to predict the occurrence of a disease or a seizure, epileptic seizure. Okay. So essentially predictions are like the main part of this. So again, Uber Eats. So some of you might be using this Uber Eats application. So this also has a machine learning part in that. So there's something called gradient boosted regression tree, so which is used at the back end to basically predict the total duration of this process. So from your ordering and then coming, that gets registered with the the driver or the restaurant, and then the unit picks up and then comes to you. So this entire optimization again is done with the help of a gradient boosted regression tree. So how much time I have? So I just want to give some tech-enabled applications where AI is used. So Netflix is something where video streaming has been improved through AI. Again, using the mobile devices, not through the smart TVs which we use. But we are going, suppose I travel in Uttarakhand, so we have these tunnels on the top of hills. So many times you see the connectivity dropping. So wherein you have these videos streaming or a video meeting, and suddenly the connectivity drops and your meeting is there. But then Netflix has a specific tool where using AI, it had forecasted the prediction, wherein for that duration where your connectivity lost, still your meeting is still because of the video streaming prediction capability of the AI. Okay. So this is where AI was used, and then jukebox. Some of you must be using, and now I am going to use it. But here also neural networks is used for generating music. So essentially generating music is used when you want to train a person as a music tutor. So generating music will generally help such people. So this is another very important area called generative AI. So I will touch some aspect of it and our work which is happening in generative AI. So generative AI essentially, if I talk about nowadays, so there is language models. So for instance, you see this, which is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is like, it is, ChatGPT is only one of it. So there are many more have come, Bard, Stable Diffusion and DALL-E. So many are there. What I am trying to highlight is that generative AI is a very recent development. So earlier we had restricted Boston machines, we had deep belief networks, etc. But now they are quite out of fashion. But generative AI is something which has picked up the mark, because essentially it had to be admitted to the transformers. So transformers, generative pre-trained transformers, which were developed very recently in 2018 or so. So that the algorithms were also generative, but not as extent as these generative pre-trained transformers. So these are the publicly available generative AI tools. So I have crowdsourced a list of available AI tools, so which can be useful maybe as a student or maybe as a faculty. Some of us may use that. Essentially, like this DALL-E tool. So essentially, this can be used to create some images, essentially for course slides. I have used once, so this really is very helpful. So if you are wanting to create some images for your course slides, and so there is a list of AI tools. Maybe I can share with Sandeep, maybe you can share with all the participants here. So and again, there are generative AIs can be used for good, not necessarily always like to write pages. But again, you have AI detecting software which are there, AI content. So better to use generative AI for creative purposes, and where you can save some time for your endeavors in a sincere way. Okay. So these are like different applications where you can consider like autonomous vehicles or smart drones. So this we have system here in Roorkee. So they are in Netherlands. Essentially, they have lot of crop yield. So they do something known as indoor farming. Essentially, this is smart farming. So where they have this greenhouse. So in which they have a large plot of land, and then they use these drones to plug the fruits and also to give the water. So they have very much automated system. Now also we also have such a system in Roorkee on a very small ground field. But this is something which is it's going to be like the food security problem which is United Nations has stated. So that can be solved if we are able to use this technology in a very efficient manner. So India, this smart farming is something which we have to really move ahead with this technology and be able to increase our agricultural produce. So smart home, of course, these are creative arts, security and surveillance. So wherein you have these people work on traffic sensor surveillance. So that is also one area where AI can be used. Okay. So this is one development. This is Sophia is the first AI robot. So I would say maybe she has a comment. So Sophia is the first humanoid robot which is developed by Hanson Robotics. So we have many more coming up. So there are many humanoid robots nowadays deployed in restaurants also. So these are, so you can see that they are answering some questions and certain, but they have limitations. So we want to see what is that limitation. So if you actually achieved AI or not. So we can see here, because Sophia is a robot, it's basically a emotion, so it can answer some questions, it can give you some service. So in restaurants they have put it for different service, put it on the elevator, so you can go and serve the attendants. But there are certain tasks where it's not exactly like what a human wants. Okay, suppose you are using ChatGPT. So there is something known as reliability and safety. The first paper we submitted for URIPS. So where we had this review comment which said that ChatGPT is not, because the question of safety comes. Because essentially if you give the same question to ChatGPT, today and tomorrow, the response will be different. And if you look at, it does not ask you back questions. If you ask a human a question, if I ask you any of your question, you will cross question me that I need this clarification in this aspect. But still ChatGPT is not yet advanced to that setting also. So ChatGPT is yet to advance a lot in order to get that human sense of AI. So basically these are the comments which still the large language models are yet to achieve. The cross questioning capability, so instructability, and then groundedness. So these are the technical terms. If any of you working in the natural language community, natural language processing, you will see these aspects. Wherein ChatGPT is still to advance a lot. Okay. So it's coming back to my area. So where I am primarily working, I'll just summarize my work here. So I basically work on learning from the brain signals. So we have participated in different challenges in order to improve our learning in this domain. So one is this, we mainly work with different neurological disorders, patients who have different neurological disorders. So mainly to decode their thoughts or to be able to build superior systems than existing systems. Okay, so just to summarize, so we have this first work which we did. So we had this competition. So where we had 10 stroke patients, hemiparalytic stroke patients. So whom we have to tell if they are thinking left or thinking right. So this is looks like very simple task. So if a human being can talk and tell, I want this left or right, that's very easy. But if you look at a stroke patient and you ask him that how do you think right or think left? So you see that it's very difficult to even decode that. And some of them, their degeneration is increasing more and more, right? So for them, how do you do this? So here is where we applied this machine learning AI to try to solve this. So we had the data from their brain signals which are coming up. Then we try to extract the patterns from that using machine learning algorithms. So of course, the main part of this is that we have to, if you test on one subject and the same story does not work for another subject. So every individual is again very much personalized. So we have to do an individual subject across the time and also all subjects cross subject also. Like you have cross subject challenge also. So we have both within subject and cross subject challenge. So we had 13 participants here from different universities. So within subject and cross subject, we had this very tough competition with this group from Brazil and the same group from Brazil. So we had this performance difference with them. So essentially, the second challenge was something which is difficult. The first was difficult because of the within subject setting. The second was we could achieve 83% and they were quite ahead because of 95%. And that was not machine learning what they have used. They have used a simple domain knowledge based identity. So they have used some threshold and it was a rule based approach. But I'm saying again that the rule based approach, a small set comes into AI. That's what we have to take into account because that's important. So then there was another competition, for example in the same leg. So we had to consider now, so we don't have so much data from subjects because essentially subjects, stroke patients, if you give them these electrodes and tell them to sit down and collect data, I want to decode your thoughts, so they will be very troubled essentially. So where you have to collect data for a very fixed amount of time, which is known as a few shot learning. So wherein you have very few number of samples for every subject and you have to adapt your algorithms for that. So this was one very challenge. We solved it in the COVID duration. We had this challenge. So this was with international competitions. So BCI competitions are international and they happen 4 years to tell you. So this was the 2020 challenge where we participated. And this was my work which we did during PhD essentially. So you see this as I was telling about epileptic stroke, right? Epileptic seizure. So epileptic seizures are very common because of the increasing stress or whatever you can say. So essentially we had to decode again. So in the brain there are different regions, okay? So there are different regions which have these, so there are different sources from which the seizures are going to come. So there is something known as a generalized seizure wherein both the hemispheres can be the source of seizures. But wherein you have certain seizures which are known as focal seizures. wherein you can localize on the one side of the hemisphere, and you can people do surgery to that region and they try to treat the person who is suffering from seizure. So we need an AI system which can detect that source where the seizure is happening from the MRI and MEG data which we have. This is a very costly data, and we don't afford, many of the don't afford this data. This was a challenge which was a European challenge, which was organized by France, so in the UK. So this was where we first worked with this very high-end data, MRI and MEG. So where we had to localize the seizure. So this was like, we had very tough competition again from, there are two teams which were like very professional in this specialized domain. So one was from Lyon, and that was like, they had this lab of MRI imaging. They have been working at this for a long time, and they have developed a toolbox also for MRI imaging processing. So they were like the winners, and we had come up in the second in this challenge essentially. So there were two subjects here. So our results were correct for one subject, but for another subject the timing information was slightly absurd. So that was where we kind of made a mistake. And this was in the same conference, so we had this another competition. So we had to basically tell if somebody is depressed or not using their biomedical data. Okay. So people go to clinics, they do some tests. So likewise, they wanted us to develop a test based on this MRI or MEG. Okay. So this was one competition. Again, we had a lot of subjects. This was by NIH USA. So this data was provided by National Institute of Health USA. So this was like our contribution here. So basically we work with this image signal processing again, so which is a very costly data, I have to tell you. So this may be used in the US setting, but for Indian setting we have to do a lot of churning to further bring these algorithms. So just to summarize, like this, we have this another, so I usually we participate in challenges and learn how do we develop algorithms. So this is our way of exploring and learning things right from my PhD. So we have been teaching it to my students also, like they themselves participated in this ICAST challenge, and where we have teams from IIT Hyderabad and we have different professors who are already known here. So there was a team from Professor Ramamurthy from IIT Hyderabad, so which has also participated in the same challenge. So this is where we had some collaboration here. And just conclude this last part, which is known as a prompt learning. So basically we have these large language models, so wherein there are some prompts which are there. Okay, suppose I ask you a question and I want the answer. Okay, so I have to give you a hint. So if I want certain kind of answer which I am looking for, I always have to give you a hint to be able to get that answer. So prompts are these intricate hints which are given in the background of ChatGPT or these large language models, where the prompts help you to get a desired response. Okay. Now how do you decide these prompts? Okay. So we have dug into the psychology part of it, and then we have a patent on this. So where we proposed an approach using this cognitive behavioral therapy. So there was models of cognitive behavioral therapy which will help you to decide on what prompts you have to choose for the GPT-4. And this was tested in the wellness center in IIT on the people who are having this depression and these mental health problems. So this was one product. Actually, we are looking for technology transfer here. So this is the entire prompt design. So we have some. So for example, like you have. So first you will check if the person has any negative beliefs. So then you should say yes or no. And then if it is yes, there is another prompt which you have to give. So this is a very system which is based on the aspects of cognitive behavioral. Okay. So this was used for prompt design for this. So these are some examples of conversation. For example, you can see here. So what we saw is that this text is going to be very big. So this text, what we are getting as responses is it's very organized, but it is very big text which is coming up. So we are working on reducing the response length. So that was our challenge. We had seen when we talked to the industry partners. That was what they told us to work on. So this is one comparison with existing bots. So you look at this, like these are the sample bots. Like there is, I don't want to name this bot, but this is very famous. This is a very famous chatbot. People looked at Visa. This is a big company. Always, So you can see the conversation here. So after a while, you see the conversation is going one way. So basically, if you give different responses, also the bot will say okay. It won't go into further. So this is what we wanted to address, to limit user dialogue to limit user dialogue to predefined words and give some more control to the user. Okay, so this is our future work. So we increase the length of the responses and work on better prompts and increase the robustness. This is one we have done. So now putting it all together, I want to help you to solve this problem, which is actually the 2AI. It's a very tough problem. What is a tough problem? So maybe a robot registers here as a student. It attends classes in the AI department and it answers the exams and it writes some poem, it does some literary work and it gets Nobel Prize. This is something AI is still not yet achieved, and this is what I would say like a hard problem. Okay. So people are yet to, because this is a photo from a conference, so where true AI is not yet achieved. What we are moving around and beating the bush is a weak AI. So and many of the things are going around weak AI. And also what we want to look at is strong AI. Strong AI is a machine with artificial consciousness. Okay. So that is where we have to move, and that's where what we are currently working upon is to bring in Indian knowledge system into the AI part. So that is something we are currently working upon, where we have these models for mind, models for brain, models for consciousness. So we are trying to merge these together and bring in strong AI company. Okay. So this is our idea for the future, and this is where the idea lies. So we have body or brain, which is the physical function, mind for the cognitive function, and observer is where we are. Okay. So but then this has to be modeled in a proper manner. So where we are taking insights from Indian knowledge systems. So this is an ongoing research project we have with Indian knowledge system. So where we are also collaborating with IIT Delhi. So where we had a conference recently we have attended. So I hope that it's going to take us to the next level. And then these are some avenues if any of you want to pursue your AI career. So these are just, I have put something here. So basically you have this, different aspects, like you can see here, ISRO. So I have also seen recently there are I've seen people who are working in IAS in Trivandrum also. There are some opportunities from BTech from AI data science. They have a lot of opportunities. And of course nowadays like AI jobs are very on the high. There is also a lot of cutting jobs, but if you are more intelligent to use the AI systems, then you can take advantage of the current trend. Okay. So that is what you have to take care of. And of course startups are going to come up. And so these are some internship opportunities in IITs. So we have this Spark internship in IIT Roorkee. So wherein we have every summer we recruit the students from universities and private as well as central universities. The only threshold I think they apply is the CGPA. So that of course for Roorkee they look at the CGPA. The different venues have different criteria. So we have to be careful with that. And then there are programs at IIT Kanpur also, search program is there, and different IITs have their own program. But at any time if you have any ideas and you want to put it in the internship, you can always email me at this. And of course this is just want to conclude this, so because the talk is going to be complete with some knowledge also from Indian knowledge perspective. So essentially this is the story which we hear when we are grown up in our childhood, essentially that basically this was a king who was engaged getting more and more wealth for the kingdom. Okay. So he used to do a lot of sacrifices for God Kuber. So Kuber was the god of wealth. So there used to be a lot of sacrifices, and then at one point of time what happened is that he was blessed a boon by Kuber that whatever he touched is going to be wealth or gold. So the king became happy, but there seems to be a responsibility also along with that boon, right? So now after that, whatever he is touching is becoming gold, and that the entire kingdom has started becoming gold. Now there is no business happening. business can happen only when there is commodity, right? Not just wealth. So that's why the idea is that along with wealth, we need to have more priorities, more preferences. This is something which you can learn from this story, and of course, this is something I would like to carry for each one of us and for myself for the personal growth. So thank you. Thank you again.
So any questions I forgot to take? Any of you, please. If anyone has any questions.
Sir, so actually, like being an undergrad student, how do you like advise us to take part in challenges? Because generally we feel that what we are learning right now is not enough to take part in the challenges. So how do you advise us to take part in challenges and learn?
No, when you are given a problem statement in challenge, so you are given a certain time to learn that. Okay, it's a time-bound exercise. Okay, so in that manner, what you want to say is that, so you can learn those things in a limited amount of time. It's not that you are only learning during the challenge, but during the challenge, you are put in an environment where you are incubated to learn that. Okay. So in that manner, you are going to learn that those oriented skills which are necessary for translation perspective. That's what I was telling that, and that will basically give you a perspective. So that's what I was saying. Gain a perspective during the challenge, and that can be useful for your academic journey or your industrial journey, whatsoever. Because the challenges are organized by different kind of entities. So wherein mostly there is like going to be an industrial aspect as well. So that's why I was telling you, suggesting each one of you to learn from a challenge kind of environment. And wherein we also come out of our comfort zone when we are in a challenge related environment. So that's very useful. Yeah. Thank you.
I got a small question. You want to test that initially, you want to test on the people, thinking or health perspective, you took patient. Right? So my question was, for lie detectors, whom you took first? Lie detectors are there, so the person should be the criminal background or influence. Then it comes the real number.
Yeah. So this, are you asking about the lie detection?
Lie detection too, because the people is the real one, right?
Yeah.
For health, you take the patients, the real one. So I think your challenge is take the sample, whom you want to test out.
Yeah. So what we did is that there are certain universities. So there are some universities which are affiliated with the police.
Okay.
So they have their own
On sample, right?
samples.
Approved sample.
Yeah, sample. So there's forensic institute in Gujarat.
Okay.
So the forensic university.
I know, National Institute of Forensic University is there actually.
So they have provided
The
scenarios and
Okay.
so they have given us the scenarios.
Okay.
We have to enact that scenario,
Fine.
get the data,
Okay.
and test it for multiple scenarios.
That way.
So there's also going to be a eyewitness also, not necessarily a criminal.
Okay, alright, true.
That is also going to come.
Critical.
What CBI did is
Agree.
they give us the data of the eyewitness and criminal.
Okay.
This is when we get for data. So we have to detect if that person is eyewitness or is criminal. Because both have
Correct.
similar information.
Correct.
So how you have to do it. So that
Right.
rigorous system will be.
Thank you, thank you.
Now I would like Dr. Radhakrishna sir and Dr. A. Ramakrishna sir to felicitate our keynote speaker on his insightful talk.
Let's have a short break and reassemble here at 11:30 for the technical talks.